Sitting meditation. So for this practice, sit in a way that is dignified, usually with the back straight, upright, shoulders moving back and falling away from the ears, chin tucked in a little, and the crown of the head stretching towards the sky. Notice your contact with the ground, your contact with whatever you're sitting on, and notice how your hands are resting. Are they exposed to the air, in contact with trouser leg or something else? At the start of this practice, it can be nice to take in some especially deeper breaths. Deep inhale with a slower, longer exhale. As you inhale, you might like to bring the shoulders up to the ears. As you exhale, let them fall away again. Just inviting your body to be comfortable, sitting in a way that allows you to be relaxed but also alert, so that any muscles that aren't needed for sitting in this posture, allowing them to become soft. And tuning into the breath. Wherever you notice the breath in the body, perhaps noticing the temperature of the air coming in at the nostrils or at the lips. And noticing the air temperature of the exhale. And this practice is different from a lot of what we spend our time doing. It's not a doing, we're trying just to be present. And we use the breath in this practice as a kind of an anchor, because typically the mind wanders quite a lot. And when we sit in stillness, the restlessness of the mind can become even more apparent. So we use the breath as something to keep coming back to. The breath is useful because as long as we're alive, we're always breathing. And it's quite a neutral sensation for us. It's happening all the time. It's not terribly exciting. And as the breath slows gradually and deepens, it can be calming for the nervous system. In this type of practice, there's no attempt to control the breath, to change it. We just breathe however the body wants to breathe. Sometimes when we pay attention to the breath, it can be hard to do so without also controlling it a little. And this is nothing to be concerned about. We're just simply in this practice noticing, am I breathing in right now? Or am I breathing out? So it can be useful to focus in on the breath in one particular place, perhaps at the belly, noticing how it rises or falls. But you can choose to pay attention to the breath wherever it is most apparent to you. If you're sleepy, sometimes paying attention to it at the nostrils is a little less likely to send you to sleep than at the belly. But there's quite a range of subtle movements that take place at the abdomen as we breathe in and out. And we try to attend to all of these little movements. Maybe noting slight differences from one breath to the next. Noting the length of inhale or exhale. And whether there's any pause between the inhale and exhale. Then taking this next breath as though you'd never taken a breath before. Giving yourself permission during this practice to not need to think about anything, plan anything. Typically the mind will demand attention for a whole range of ideas or plans. And just setting an intention at the beginning that there's nothing really I need to think about for the next 10 or 15 minutes. That can be done afterwards. So that you've full permission to let your attention stay on this relatively neutral stimulus, the breath. Attending to it like a scientist, just seeing what happens. We're not trying to do anything with this meditation or get anywhere. We're not trying to become peaceful or change ourselves or have some kind of amazing experience. We're just simply noting what happens as we ask the attention to go again and again to the in-breath and the out-breath. And whenever the mind wanders, we just note what type of thought it's gone towards. And then we bring it back to the breathing. Describe breath as the anchor for this meditation. In the way an anchor for a boat needs to be somewhat loose so that the boat can move about in waves or in tide without breaking the anchor. We're not really strictly trying to concentrate on the breath in any very determined way. It's just like kind of keeping a gentle eye out. Am I breathing in or am I breathing out? The mind can get the idea that this is challenging, but really it's as simple as that. Am I breathing in? How do I know? What sensations from the abdomen or wherever in the body is telling me inhale is happening or exhale is happening? during this practice, checking your posture again, inviting the body to be relaxed in this alert, dignified stance, inviting the facial muscles to be relaxed. And at the lips there can be a very subtle smile. This is another tiny signal to the nervous system that this is a time for rest and healing. What's on your mind now? Where has the attention gone? Gently noting, is it remembering, planning, fantasizing, worrying? Is it a very familiar thought perhaps, or something new? We just note it and return attention to the breath. Try not to follow the thought or say, why did I start thinking about that? What led me to that thought? We don't need to chase back down that rabbit hole. You just note, okay, that's what the mind threw up, and I'm bringing attention back to whether I'm breathing in or out. Body or mind may encounter a little bit of resistance to this, or could find it very peaceful. Either way, that's just noticed. Is there restlessness or boredom? Is there a sense of deep peace or bliss? Either type of thing has its complication. If there's a very peaceful feeling, there can be the tendency to want that to happen again and to cling on to it, which can be a challenge in this. If it's a feeling of restlessness, boredom, discomfort, self-criticism, they're obviously aversive kind of experiences, and we try to get away from them. In this, really, we're trying to do nothing, just to be, and to be aware, to notice, in breath, out breath. The practice is not more or less successful depending on how many thoughts you think or how long the mind stayed at the breath. The practice is successful simply if you do it. So being with this breath, the sensations telling you it's an inhale or exhale. And again, treating this next breath as though it were the first or the last breath you'd ever take. Being interested in the breath. And again, curious about this next breath. and also curious about this experience. We use the breath in this as something of a tool to divert the mind from its kind of usually ceaseless thinking, planning, imagining, and our experience of that we have to do all the time, get away from things we don't like, hang on to things we do like. This can be an opportunity to give yourself a few minutes holiday from the I have to, I must, I should. Different meditations can be experienced by people as I have to do this, I should do that. Ideally, this is the opposite. This is just a being, and you don't need to do anything. This is so easy. It is just watching, am I breathing in or out? And then watching whatever else comes up. Could be boredom or discomfort, displeasure, agitation. It could be peace, it could be sleepiness. There's no right experience in this. And once again, noting where has the mind gone. Bringing attention to, am I breathing in or out? And now we're just going to move the attention to sound. Noticing that you can hear and what sounds are coming into your hearing experience at the moment. Sounds from your own body, from the room, sounds outside the room or from outside the building, from far away. Of course, sounds that we like or dislike. Just noting, without judgment, the experience right now of being able to hear. And then checking in with the body. Been sitting here in this posture for a few moments now. How are the feet and knees? How are the hips, wherever you're in contact with a chair or cushion? How's the lower back and the upper back? The belly, and seeing how is the heart. Allowing whatever is there to be there. Noticing. And then, if your eyes are closed, before you open them, just tuning into the room that you're in. Perhaps having a sense of the room in your mind. And whenever you're ready, gently opening your eyes, looking around and beginning to move fingers, toes, shoulders. It can be nice to move the head from side to side, move it around the neck a bit, do a bit of a stretch And we just finish with thanking ourselves for trying this experience. Something quite different from the normal doing, the normal having to do. Thank you for taking part in this with me.